Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be dealing with jaundice. See, I have broken down this concept into two parts. In the first part, I will be dealing with the metabolism of hemoglobin, while in the second part, we will deal with the type of jaundice. So, it all starts with the old worn out RBCs which have completed their life cycle of 120 days and enter into our reticuloendothelial system. Within the reticuloendothelial system, we have macrophages which take on the hemoglobin from the RBCs and break it down into heme and globin. Now, while the globin part is recycled back into the body, the heme is subjected to further metabolism. This heme is first of all converted into a molecule which is called as protoporphyrin, and the protoporphyrin is converted into further a molecule called as unconjugated bilirubin. So this is the point where the unconjugated bilirubin is produced, and we all know that the unconjugated bilirubin is produced from protoporphyrin. This unconjugated bilirubin is bound to albumin and is transported via the blood into the liver. Now let's see what happens in the liver. Guys, in the hepatocytes, we have an enzyme which is called as the UGT, or the uridine gluconosyl transferase, which converts the unconjugated bilirubin into conjugated bilirubin. Guys, please note that unconjugated bilirubin is lipid soluble, so can never appear in the urine, while the conjugated bilirubin is water soluble, and if it is present in the blood, it will definitely be present in the urine, because the kidneys always excrete the substances which are water soluble. Now, this conjugated bilirubin is transported via the bile canaliculi into the bile ducts, and finally it gets concentrated in the gallbladder and is transported via the bile into the duodenum. So, please make sure to remember that the conjugated bilirubin under normal condition never appears in the blood. There is a proper barrier between the bile canaliculi and the blood streams, so the conjugated bilirubin never appears in the blood and hence never appears in the urine under the normal condition. But when there is a destruction of the bile canaliculi, like we'll discuss it in various conditions, then there is a chance that the conjugated bilirubin may leak from the bile canaliculi and appears in the blood and further appears in the urine. Guys, now the metabolism onwards is very simple. This conjugated bilirubin is acted upon by the intestinal bacteria and is converted into what we call as stercobilinogen or urobilinogen. Please note that stercobilinogen and urobilinogen, these are one thing only. Most of the stercobilinogen or urobilinogen is absorbed from the intestines, and of that absorbed part, 90% goes into what we call as enterohepatic circulation, via which these pigments like stercobilinogen and urobilinogen are transported back into the liver to be used for the production of bile acids, while 10% part of this absorbed goes into the kidneys and is filtered into the urine, providing the yellow color to the urine. The remaining stercobilinogen and the urobilinogen in the intestine gets spontaneously oxidized into a pigment called as stercobilin or urobilin, which provides the humor. Guys, now let's come to the second part of our video, in which I will be covering the types of jaundice. See, please make it clear that jaundice is not a disease, but it is simply a symptom of the underlying pathology, and it is defined as the yellowish discoloration of the sclera and the mucous membrane of the body. And the underlying pathology which leads to jaundice is actually the increased levels of bilirubin, which we call as the hyperbilirubinemia. So please make it clear that the pathology is there and it leads to hyperbilirubinemia, and as a result of hyperbilirubinemia we have the yellowish discoloration of sclera and the mucous membrane of our body, which is called as jaundice. These hyperbilirubinemias are classified on the basis of the percentage of conjugated bilirubin and there are three main types of hyperbilirubinemia. So, if we study these three types of hyperbilirubinemia, it will be easier for us to remember the types and the pathologies which lead to the jaundice. So, the hyperbilirubinemias are of three main types. One is the unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, the second is mixed hyperbilirubinemia, and the third is conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. In case of unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, the percentage of conjugated bilirubin is less than 20%. In case of mixed hyperbilirubinemia, it is in between 20 to 50%, while in case of conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, we have more than 50% of the bilirubin as conjugated bilirubin. So covering the unconjugated hyperbilirubinemias, first